Sup, pussy? Wanna play a real game?
Huh?
Put down that baby shit. We're playing Doom! Mods have always been a big part of the classic Doom experience. After Doom was released, it only took about a month for the first modding tools to come out. There's well over 1,000 mods from 1994 that you can still find online. Today, I'm going to look at some of the best and the worst of 1994 to see what the Doom modding community was like during its first year. Doom Extra Hard, February 15th. Maybe this was a bad idea. If you try to look up what the oldest Doom mod was on Google, the AI assistant will give you the wrong answer. We'll talk about a Ridgewad next. The oldest Doom mod I could find was created by a group of pirates called the Underworld Corporation. As you can see, there wasn't a whole lot of thought put into this. It's just the normal Doom levels but full of enemy spam. It actually changes every level in the game, at least the first 3 episodes. So, if you wanted to, you could warp around and check out every level and see how bad they are. Here's E2M1. You're blocked off right at the beginning by this spider demon. Let's see how long it takes to punch it to death. Well, that was fun. There may have been some mods created before this, but as far as I could tell, this is the oldest one you can still find. So, it's noteworthy at least, even though it sucks so much, it is the oldest. Ridgewad, March 9th. This is the first mod with a fully original map. It's not much to look at, but this is a piece of Doom history right here. It takes about 15 seconds to get through, and if you want to go for 100% kills, you'll have to punch this Baron to death. Really, I'm just glad this wasn't lost to time. I think game preservation should include user-made content too. 100 years from now, people might want to go back to these early, influential games and see some of the stuff people made for it. Everything I'm looking at today is already over 30 years old, so... I mean, if it's been around this long, it'll probably be around for 100 years, for real. E2M1 Ed, March 23rd. The last level was obviously just a test. E2M1 Ed is the first real level. It's still pretty basic, but it's a big step up from a Ridgewad. It even has a secret room. The main thing that sticks out here is this big, slow elevator with different paths branching out from it. At the time, so close to the release of Doom, this was probably really, really cool. I think it's worth playing still, just for historical purposes. Dante's Gate, May 17th. So this is the first level with the design that I actually had fun with. It's much bigger than anything that came before it, with good flow, structure, and replayability. The action starts right away, and there's multiple paths you can take right at the start. If you find this secret room, you can find this hidden plasma rifle from the window, so when you replay the level, you can get it right at the start. This mod is actually the start of a series based on Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. The maps are based on the 9 Circles of Hell, although the 9th map was never released. The first and second levels were released all the way back in 1994, and both of them are still good and worth going back to. Urban Beta, June 6th. This probably isn't the first mod that looks like a normal house, but I had to include at least one. If you play an Ultra Violence, a Cyber Demon and a Spider will spawn, so I'm just gonna go with the easiest difficulty. Honestly, this would make for a pretty fun multiplayer level. It's open and connected enough to make the matches interesting. But anyway, what I like about this map is the detail they put into the different rooms. The kitchen has a fridge, the bedroom has a dresser, the bathroom has a shower and a toilet. Looks kinda dirty. It's not a great map, but it is a good novelty. Doomsday of UAC, June 8th. Now this is what I'm talking about. What I love about this level is the fact that it feels like a real place in the Doom universe. In fact, there's some environmental storytelling going on here. You start off in a truck that got knocked over. It looks like there was a car wreck. You go through a UAC building with some impressive details, including bathrooms, a parking garage, a reception desk, and more. Eventually, you'll find a hidden area with this really cool invisible staircase, and it leads to this encounter with the cyber demon. This actually ties into the story of Doom, since the demon invasion was originally caused by the UAC doing secret experiments. At the end, there's a spaceship you can use to escape. This is one of my favorites from 1994, and in my opinion, it's even better than some of the official levels in Doom 1. There's good action, good aesthetics, and a story that ties it all together. What more could you want? Slaughter Until Death, June 28th. Here's one of the earliest full episode replacements. It was created by a team of two brothers called the Innocent Crew. The map quality is good. They feel almost official. And it got better as it went on too. The final level has this big castle with the cyber demon in it, which is a nice finale. There's good visuals and solid encounters throughout the mod. Really, the most notable thing for me is that you could download full episodes of great maps all the way back then. And anybody can make them if they wanted to. Yeah, anybody could. Bad mods.
Oh shit!
If you look at the current Doom modding community, you might notice that stuff from 1994 has a bad reputation. Like I said before, there were well over 1,000 mods you could find online. Most were pretty boring, or straight up bad. But if we just look at the good ones, we wouldn't have an accurate view of what the scene was like back then. Funnily enough, there were actual CDs sold in stores containing a bunch of crappy mods that were just taken from the internet. It kinda sucks you had to pay for these, but back then the convenience was worth it for some. D-Zone was a series of CDs you could buy with custom content for Doom 1 and 2. A big chunk of this content was from 1994, and there was no quality control. Even though most of the levels were bad, it was probably still cool to have so many custom levels. I don't think stuff like this existed before Doom. Later on, id Software released their own collection of fan-made levels, and it's the biggest one of them all. They called it Maximum Doom. It includes 1,830 WAD files, and if you add up all the maps in them, you end up with 3,487 levels. Whoa. The vast majority of these come from 1994, but there's also some from 1995. Most of the mods I'm talking about today are also on there. This is the best way to experience the modding community as it was back then. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I see Maximum Doom as a great example of game preservation, and I wish other publishers would release stuff like this. What if Nintendo made a Mario Maker game that came preloaded with 3,000 user-made levels? Then you'd just have those forever. No server required. That'd be cool. But anyway, let's get back on track. Galaxia, July 28th. Here's a creative one. Galaxia by Pavel Hodak is one of the first mods that came with a story. It's based on a Czech sci-fi comic written by Václav Sorel. Here's a quick version of the story. You and your friend get stuck on a planet where people are terrorized by giant insects and they have to live underground. Your job is to help them fight back. Okay, cool. Well, right off the bat, you get a cool start to the level. There's a spider demon right in the first room. You have to run around and find a hidden switch so you can get out. Man, the custom music here is sick. These tunnels connect the next few sections of the level. There's some tough rooms here too. The one that sticks out the most to me is this long hallway with spider demons along the edges. That's intense. There's also a second level. It's pretty small though, just a bunch of tight hallways. It's more of a bonus or an epilogue to the main level's story. I respect the effort put into this. Even if you don't care about the story, this is still a pretty great mod and a fun challenge. Unholy Trinity, August 22nd. Yo, look at this. This one's actually based on a real college in England. The realistic textures here give this map a totally different feel from anything else back then. And it comes with custom music too. As for the level itself, it's pretty challenging. Health is scarce, and you'll have to fight big groups of monsters all at once. Honestly, it's not the most fun thing to play, but the way it looks makes it way better than the average 1994 level. For something made over 30 years ago, this is very impressive. If you saw this back in the day, it'd blow your mind. Other mods are more fun, but this one is still an important part of Doom history, and one of the best ones from 1994. Serenity, September 16th. Here's one of the big ones. The main thing I noticed in this is all the custom music. Also, this is a full episode with 8 levels. It starts off on the right foot. The first room is cool. You have to stay in the shade to avoid taking damage. And if you do well, you get to keep a lot of these health bonuses. The rest of the first level was combat heavy and paced pretty well. The ending is in the middle of this giant S. Yeah, there's an Easter egg in every level where you can find one letter from the word Serenity. The second level has this movie theater room. Pretty cool. Try to remember how this one looks. There's something interesting about this level in particular that we'll come back to. Check out the music in this next level. Sound familiar? The rest of the mod is pretty solid, with a custom texture here and there. So far, I prefer the single level mods. But if you were a big Doom fan back then, and you were waiting on Doom 2, this would have been a must-play mod for sure. Also, Serenity got 2 sequels, Eternity in 1994 and Infinity in 1995. Both of them also have full episodes with their own custom music. Street, September 19th. The actual gameplay here is a little rough, but I like how the map is set up like an actual street, with some buildings and a small subway section. The enemy placement here is a little spammy in ultra-violence mode, and I thought there could have been a bit more ammo. Even though the level design here is mediocre, it's still better than the average map you'd see in Maximum Doom. The progression is nice, it's pretty clear where you have to go most of the time, and if you like fighting big hordes of monsters, it's a decent map. A couple moments I enjoyed are where you have to run around the spider demon to get the red key, and the cyber demon fight near the end. It's dumb, but I still kinda liked it. I think it's a little better than some of the city levels in Doom 2. Mainly, this one's pretty notable for being an early urban style level, especially for being before Doom 2. Speaking of Doom 2, on October 10th, Doom 2 was released. From now on, most mods will be made for Doom 2 rather than Doom 1. Now, if you know anything about old 1994 mods, you probably know about this next one. Aliens TC, October 19th. I can't believe we went from mods like this to this in about 7 months. If you only want to play one mod from 1994, just go with this one. Aliens TC is the most popular one I'll be talking about today, and for good reason. It's the first total conversion mod. It changes all the enemies, both visually and in how they behave. For example, the Pinkies are replaced with aliens, and they can move a lot faster now. Lost Souls are replaced with facehuggers, and they still lunge at you, but they crawl on the ground instead of flying around. This is my favorite mod of the year, by far. The level design and atmosphere work so well together. You might expect a jump scare in the first level, but there's actually no enemies at all. You won't see any aliens until you get to the swampy part of the second level, and they come out of the walls to ambush you. It's a nice build-up and one of my favorite things the mod does. After that, there's a level where you close off these gates to lock the aliens out, and a few maze-like levels with sewer systems and jump scares. The final map is a boss fight against the Queen Alien. I like how the level design tells a story here. There's also a couple bonus levels, and one of them is the first level again, but with enemies. Aliens TC is not only historically important, but also genuinely fun. If you like the Alien series, or if you just like horror mods for Doom, give it a shot. Castle of Evil, October 27th. Do you like Sense Fortress from Dark Souls? Well, this map is like that, but in Doom. There's so many traps and ambushes. You have to move cautiously, just like a Dark Souls level. You'll hit a switch or enter a room, and suddenly monsters will start teleporting in behind you. The place looks cool too. If you went to a place called the Castle of Evil, you'd probably see something like this. The combat is good here. Rooms will have windows where enemies can shoot you, and when you go outside, you'll be greeted by a whole wall of imps shooting fireballs from a long distance. Right away, you have a bunch of paths you can go down. The map can be explored in any order, and there's plenty of map to see here. In fact, the level was so big that it didn't run very well on computers that people had back then. That's not really a problem that we have to deal with, but I could see this being a major downside back in the day. Another thing I noticed in this mod is the difficulty. I already mentioned the traps and tricky combat encounters, but the ammo management is also a factor. Try to keep an eye out for the backpack so you can carry more ammo around. Also, try to cause some monster infighting when you can. On the other hand, there's 47 secrets to find, so there's probably more than enough ammo if you know where to look. Personally, I love levels like this. I think this is a great mod that everyone should play, especially if you like old school Dark Souls levels with traps, or King's Field, or anything like that. Xmas Doom, December 22nd. I think this is a good one to end the year on. Christmas Doom. This time, it's for Doom 2. It's a set of 3 levels with custom Christmas music. The first map is the most difficult. It's full of Caco demons, and there's even some revenants and an archvile near the end. Remember the second level from Serenity? This one shares a lot of the basic structure of it. Both of them were based on a template from a level editor. Back then, there was probably a ton of mods that were just variations of that template. Anyway, I didn't like this version of the level. The second map is a little better. There's a room near the end where the door locks behind you, so that's a nice little trap. Other than that, it's a pretty small map with some good combat encounters. Now the last level was my favorite. You start off outside in the snow. Once you get inside, there's a room full of boxes, kind of like Santa's workshop when it's full of presents. It's fun to shoot all the pinkies here with the super shotgun. You do a little key hunting, and then at the end, you have to solve this puzzle. The top of the pyramid spawns monsters, so there is some time pressure here. All you have to do is touch all these walls that stick out, and the middle of the pyramid gets exposed. The level ends when you touch the middle of the pyramid. It wasn't a great set of levels, but I probably would have downloaded it back then. The Christmas midis were funny, and that last encounter with the pyramid was kind of fun. Not bad for the first ever Christmas mod. Video games are art. But what about these mods? Are they art? I would say yes, 100%. A lot of thought and effort went into the design of these. I even kind of like the bad ones. They aren't fun, but they add to the story. The fact that the majority of the mods back then sucked makes the good ones even more impressive. Going back to look at all this stuff was pretty easy, and I think you should do it too if you think it looks cool. I just hope these mods stay preserved forever. In 50, 100, or 200 years from now, I want people to be able to access Doom and the levels people made for it. And you can extend that to fan games, ROM hacks, mods of all kinds. I just want user-made content to be preserved. I think that's the main thing I got out of playing all these old mods. Alright, that was the first year of Doom mods, and you know what? They were mostly pretty fun. I tried to show off most of the highlights, but there's more big ones out there that I didn't include. So if you wanted to go back and check out old mods on your own, there's still a bunch of hidden gems. If you liked the video, give it a like, And if you want to see more, subscribe. Also, let me know some good mods. Actually, let me know some bad mods. It was hard to find some bad mods that were like so bad that it's funny. So just, leave a comment. Thanks.